Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server. And I hope you enjoy this video. So Cardano is still going sideways. It has been going sideways for a couple of weeks now. And if you remember what I said in my previous videos, this happens every single year. So for example here, after we had a pump in November and in October, Cardano just went sideways for the entire month of December, and if you look at 2022, it's the exact same thing. Although this right here was a bear market, so we cannot really count this. But even here, Cardano went down in December, and Cardano is currently going down right now, and it's December, so yeah, if you continue with 2021 here, it also happened. We also went sideways, and we did absolutely nothing. And if you look at what happened in the previous halving year, which is 2020, after going up in November, we went sideways for the entire month of December, and then we pumped again in January, and we went up like 126% in January, and that was not even it. We still went up again after that in February. And I don't think Cardano is nowhere near close to topping. And if you look at the RSI, the daily RSI has cooled off quite a lot, which is good. We are no longer overbought. We are almost oversold. Now, I don't know if we will get to the oversold territory. I think it's possible to get there if we drop below the support zone right here. So if we drop below 80.8 cents, it's very likely that we test the 0.382 support level right here, which is at 72.7 cents. And like I said, this would not be bearish, but I don't know how likely it is for this to happen because I'm still expecting Bitcoin to continue going up for the rest of the year. And yeah, there are like 3 days left of the year, but I still think that Bitcoin will surprise everyone and go up a lot in the last 2 days of the year. But I might be wrong. Maybe Bitcoin is not going to do what it did in the previous 2 cycles. Maybe this cycle is different. Who knows? Anyways, before I continue with that, let me talk about the Elliott wave count for those interested and for those who did not watch the previous videos. So here, after bottoming in the second wave move down right here, which by the way is the second wave of this 1-2 setup right here, we started a third wave move. Now, of course, the third wave right here needs 5 waves up, and right now we have a 1-2 setup of the third wave, and I believe the third wave of the third wave will start very, very soon because the second wave looks to be complete. Now, of course, we could get another low in the second wave right here, and that's why I have the support zone on the chart. And if we do get another low, I'm expecting that to be the last low because I don't really want to see the price drop to this 50% extension of the first wave because that would put us in between the bull market support band, and in my opinion that would not be bullish. So what we need to do right now is we need to bounce, and we need to do it very, very soon. So yeah, the first wave of the main third wave has 5 waves up. It's complete, of course, and the second wave move down has an ABC structure, which looks complete, but like I said, we could always get another low, and we'll see if that happens or not. The possibility of us getting another low in the second wave right here would increase if we got below the 0.786 support level, which is at 80.8 cents. If we get below this level, it's likely that we drop below this low as well. And if we drop below this low, which is at 76.4 cents, it's likely that Cardano drops to the 0.382 main support zone. We'll see if that happens or not. Like I said, we have another 1-2 set up on the chart, and I'm watching for a third wave. But if we don't hold support levels, then I'm going to get rid of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup that I have on the chart because it will no longer be valid. And if we get a third wave right now, the minimum target for the third wave is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup, and that is at $1.30. Then of course we will need a fourth wave move down and then a fifth wave move up. And once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the second wave move down is in and that we're actually starting the third wave of the third wave move. And as you know, the third wave of the third wave is the most impulsive move of the cycle, so this is gonna get crazy very, very soon. And this makes sense because if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, Bitcoin dominance, yes, it has dropped like 6% over here, and some altcoins already started going crazy, but you cannot really call this an altcoin season. An altcoin season usually looks like this, so if we want to get an altcoin season, we should get a drop on the Bitcoin dominance chart like we got over here. So here we dropped from about, let's say about 73% all the way to like 39% dominance. And yeah, I mean, right now we topped at about, let's say, almost 62%, and dominance dropped to about 54%. And of course, you cannot really count this as an altcoin season. Now, of course, there are some altcoins that already went up quite a lot here. For example, Cardano went up like 300% when Bitcoin dominance was doing this, but that's actually not enough to confirm that an altcoin season has started. Now, imagine what will happen when Bitcoin dominance drops from like 58%, where it's at right now, to about, let's say, 40% or so, to maybe touch the trend line right here. Imagine what will happen with the altcoin market when Bitcoin dominance does that. If some altcoins already went up like 300% and Bitcoin dominance only dropped like 6% here, imagine what will happen if Bitcoin dominance drops like 3 times more than what it did over here. It's gonna get insane extremely fast. Now, I'm not gonna talk about Bitcoin dominance too much because I have already talked about it a lot, but I did tell you that there is a chance that Bitcoin dominance just goes sideways for 48 days after the cross, because that's what usually happens every single cycle. So in the previous cycle, we had a cross on the bull market support band, and it took about 48 days for Bitcoin dominance to start going down after the cross. And yeah, that also happened in 2016. We had a cross right there somewhere, and it took 48 days for something to happen. And look at what happened after 48 days. We had a huge break to the downside on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So if we want to copy what we did in the previous 2 cycles, we still have to continue going sideways until January 10th of next year. So yeah, I think it's very unlikely that we get another Bitcoin dominance cycle high by the end of the year. I mean, there are like 3 days left of the year, so I don't think it's possible. And why am I talking about that? Well, because that's what we did in the previous cycle. After going down in November, Bitcoin dominance put in another cycle high in December. And what do you know? It happened at the end of the year, which was also a halving year. And after that, Bitcoin dominance started dropping. Right now, we have not gotten above the high right here, which is at about 61.5% dominance, and I don't think we will get above that high anymore, because we are already getting rejected by the bull market support band again. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance, it's trying to stay above it, but it keeps getting rejected by it, and yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until we actually start getting rejected like crazy, and that's what will trigger the real altcoin season that everyone has been waiting for. And also, it would make sense for that to happen, considering the fact that the third wave of a third wave is expected to happen very, very soon. So yeah, this would be the perfect time for a third wave of the third wave. Now keep in mind, my minimum target for the main third wave is the 200% extension of this one to set up, and that is at $2.98, but that's only the minimum target, and it could obviously overextend to the 2.272 extension or maybe the 2618 extension, but my minimum target is the 200% extension. I also want to talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currently underperforming. Like I did tell you many times already, I was expecting Bitcoin to be at 120k by the end of the year, and that seems very unlikely every single day. I mean, maybe we will get there somehow, but right now it seems very unlikely. I mean, we are at 94k right now, and Bitcoin has just been going sideways for the past 30 days now. The RSI has cooled off, which is good, but you know, there's nothing really happening. And if you look at the Bitcoin monthly returns chart, I mean, Bitcoin is actually underperforming quite badly when you compare it to the previous halving years. So for example, in 2020, Bitcoin went up 47% in December, and in 2016 it went up 30%. Right now, Bitcoin is down about 2% in December, which is interesting because Bitcoin never closed a red wick on the monthly chart in a halving year. Even if you look back at the 2012 halving, and I'm gonna show you this chart for that, in 2012, Bitcoin still went up about 7% in December. So the fact that we are down about 3% or 2.5% in December this year is a bit concerning, but you know, maybe we have a chance to at least close a green wick and not a red wick. Now keep in mind, if you look at what happened in 2012, after we went up like 7% in December, We went up like 55% in January in the post-halving year, so I still think Bitcoin will do quite well. And also, let's be honest, Bitcoin got to $108,000. My prediction for the end of the year was always $100,000. We did get to that level, and yeah, I did tell you that it's possible to get to 120k, and I actually thought that it would be possible, but I guess Bitcoin does not want to follow what it did in the previous cycles, and we'll find out why next year. And yeah, this is not bearish, of course, but this definitely raises a big question, and that is, well, why does Bitcoin not want to follow what it did in the previous cycles? And that's what we will find out very, very soon, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm still expecting Cardano to continue going up for the, let's say, next few months, let's say about next 8 months or so. It could top by August of next year, but it could also top in November of next year. I don't know exactly when it will top, but I know it will top at some point, let's say during Q3 or Q4 of next year. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.